According to geologists and paleontologists,
According to me,
the 4.5 billion years that our Earth has existed since the Big Bang, for most of that time it was devoid of life. A few billion years ago, the first life, bacteria, arose. But it would take quite a long time, not till about 500 million years ago, that we had more advanced life that would form. But even from that, it would be another 100 million years and change before plants even began to colonize the barren, rocky land. And even more time before more animal-like animals would develop. So, in the fossil record, one of the earliest flying bird-like animals, Archaeopteryx, discovered in a German quarry during the time of the dinosaurs, amazed the imaginations of paleontologists. And we see their descendants today in the birds that live among us. It would still be a very long time, about 4 million years ago roughly, that humanoid creatures would come to the earth. And you have to wonder, they were both terrestrial and arboreal. Arboreal meaning living in the trees, and terrestrial on the land. That they could not help but look up at the sky, at the creatures who had the power of flight, and not want some of that for themselves. So we fast forward to caveman days, the time of Ugg and Chug. Brutal, primitive, hairy beasts that lived in caves, beat their prey to death with a giant bat-like stick and drug it into their cave for dinner, not unlike I do.
Ugh! Chug, Chug. You see that thing fly in the sky? Yes, Chug. I want that power. How you gonna do that? I have idea. I climb up on rock, and I jump off, and I put my arms out, and Chug fly.
So, this early caveman climbed up high on a rock, with Chug looking on. And he said, "Look at me!" And he jumped off. Splat. And that was the end of that attempt at flight. Chug came over, looked at the lifeless body of his friend.
Oh, no fly.
Thousands of years would come and go, and it would be during the Roman era. The great Caesar, Augustus. I have conquered most of the world. Practically from India to Great Britain. But there is one place that I have not been able to conquer, and it is the sky. Why cannot my pantheon of Roman gods provide me, the great Caesar, with the power to conquer the sky and unite the land and the sea? My navies sail on all of the oceans, overpowering any enemy. My legions cross the lands, but my legions do not conquer the sky. Why? Why, my generals? I don't want an answer, I want a solution. Make me the emperor of the sky. So, his generals, not so Smarticus, and kind of Dummicus, came up with an idea. Well, you know, not so Braiticus. Yes, not so Smarticus. Ships sail on the water, they float. Yes. Well, why couldn't they float in the air? It's a rather dumb idea, but why don't we try it? Okay. What country did we just conquer? The German tribes. Ah, perfect. German tribes, come. Oh, well, come in your shackles. Okay, put them on a ship, find me a hill, and throw them and their ship over the hill, and see if they float into the sky. Darn, that's a mess. I'm not cleaning that up. We need to conquer another people. Who shall be next? The Gauls? They have a lot of gold, I know. They're going to become the French. And you know, their language is very bizarre. It's not spoken as it's written. How ridiculous. So the Romans were unable to conquer the skies. They almost conquered the entire world, as it was known at that time, but they were unable to conquer the sky. We fast forward to the Renaissance. Italy. And a great man come forth. His name, Leonardo da Vinci. No, Vinci. Hey! You know, I'm a pretty smart guy. I make a lot of inventions. But the one thing I don't invent yet is a way to fly. I look at the birds, I look at them soaring over the city, and I wanted this too, because I'm smart. I, Leonardo da Vinci, shall come up with a way to conquer the sky. But I need the help of somebody. I study these birds. I notice they have these things called the wings, and these wings have the feathers on them. What if I took a guy and I take a whole bunch of glue and I stick the feathers on his arms and I have him jump off of a high place? Maybe he'll fly, but I have to find the right guy to do this. So he goes down to the middle of the village, and there's a not so bright guy hanging out by the fountain. Hey! You look like someone who wants to make a history. You look like someone who wants to command the sky like the eagle. You feeling me? I said, oh yeah, sounds pretty good. Yeah, okay, oh really? This is what I do. I am a Leonardo da Vinci. I'm a great inventor. I create wonderful things. I am going to make you the first human to fly. Sounds good, eh? Yeah. Follow me to my workshop. He took the guy, not so bright, to the workshop. Put out the yards! Okay, what are you doing? I'm slathering a glue on your arms.
Hey, it kind of feels kind of weird, okay.
All right, I kill a bunch of birds, I get in the feathers, I stick them on your arms and all over your body.
It's kind of weird, but okay.
So he gets this guy totally covered in feathers. He says, now, this is what you're going to do. We're going to go up a tower, the tallest tower in the city, okay? And you're going to go on the edge. And you're going to flap on your wings. Because those are no longer arms. Those are wings. And you're going to soar like an eagle over the city. The first man to do this. And we both will become famous. Okay, that's all right. So they walked up the tower. Tallest tower. And he stands there, like an not so bright guy, at the edge of the tower. And he looks like, it's kind of far down there. Ah! Not for you, for me, because I have no wings. But you have the wings. You gonna fly. I'm gonna fly, okay. Now, when I say jump, you jump. And you flap your wings like a crazy, okay? And you flap. The guy, ready, set, jump. Oh no. He crushed my wife's rosa garden. And he make a pretty big a hole too. Gosh darn it. I'm gonna have a good call of the landscaper. But I'm not done yet. I got another idea. He's walking down in the port. And he sees the ships. He sees the ships in the harbor. And he notices that they have sails. And he notices the wind blowing in the sails of the ships, powering the ships. And he says, aye, why not? I change my idea. Feathers out, sails in.
Oh no.
I'm gonna make this guy's arms are like the ship sails. And he's gonna sail over the city. He make me famous. I gotta find the right guy though. So he walks downtown. And there's another not so bright guy hanging out by the fountain. Hey you! You wanna be famous?
No.
I know you do.
No.
You see those birds up there? Can you imagine what they see? They see what we do not. They look down on us. We look up on them. But you, I can make you the first to be able to experience what the birds see.
Okay.
Sounds like... Yeah, okay, that sounds good, bird. You come to my workshop, and I make you the first person... no, rubber the Buddha. And I make you the first guy to fly. So he takes him to the workshop. And he builds this wooden contraption out on his arms. And he puts linen sails on it. Yeah, this is kind of heavy. It will be not any heavy when you are sailing out across the city. Looking down like an eagle. This is what you do. You're gonna jump, but you're gonna sail, you're gonna glide out like this. Okay. Walk with me up, unto the top of the tower. Say, walk up the tower. Okay. Hey, why is there a big hole in the ground at the bottom? Oh, you don't worry about that. That's my wife's rosa garden. They have put a big hole there to plant the roses in, and you don't worry about that, okay? You don't worry about that, okay? So you get up to the top. When I say jump, you jump, and you just go out, okay? Okay. Ready, set, jump! Oh no! I'm gonna have to put a swimming pool in there. There's a big hole in there. Oh, what a mess. Ay. And unfortunately for Leonardo da Vinci, flight eludes him. But we fast forward to 1789, the Age of Enlightenment in France. And there's another inventor. And he too is dreaming of flight, watching the birds, wondering how.
What's his name?
His name is the French guy.
No, his name is
Le Bouffe. So, he says, why not France be the first ones to conquer the sky? We have a great emperor. We should also conquer the sky. But how? So, this particular guy, Lebeuf, is walking down by the harbor, and he too notices the sails on the ships. And he says, look at how the air is trapped in the sails. But how can I make the sails go up in the sky? I know how they can go across the sea, but I do not know how to get them to go up. So then he walks by the Parliament building, and he sees the politicians, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, and all the hot air coming out, of their mouths. And this hot air rises. If I get a bunch of politicians under a giant sail, voila! We will have flights! But how? How will I hold the politicians underneath the sail as it is going up into the sky? And as he's walking past the market, he notices a fat lady with a piece of tape on her butt with an arrow on it. Which you put on there! No, I'm kidding. And she's carrying her groceries in a giant basket. And he goes, I will make a giant basket, and I will attach it with strings, and I will get the whole bunch of French politicians to stand in the basket and talk into the sail, and it will float. So he has this giant basket built. He goes down to the port, and he has a giant sail made, and then he has it rigged to the basket, and then he goes over to the Parliament. He goes, Gentlemen, 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 I have a proposal for you. Do you not want France to be the greatest and most modern country in the world? Of course you do. I need your help. Follow me. You come to my basket. And they all follow him to the basket. And he says, all right, we must debate the topic. And they start blah, 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 blah. And the sail begins to fill with air. And for the first time, flight is achieved by the French outside of Paris, 1789, as the first hot air balloon, rises above, thanks to the politicians.
Big blubbermouths.
But this is not the end. Because some bicycle makers in Ohio, in the turn of the 20th century, also dream of flight. Their name, the Wright brothers.
They live in Carolina.
We need...
They live in Carolina.
No, they were from Ohio.
They didn't live in Ohio.
They did. That was where their shop was. And they decide we can use our skills at building bicycles to build a glider. But we need the perfect place. A place with no trees that it can crash into, soft sandy hills, and strong winds. Oh, your brother-in-law's? No! Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And there they go in 1903. And for the first time, North Carolina becomes first in flight. And that is why it is on their license plate, first in flight. Not because they're speeders, although they are, but because of the Wright brothers coming from Ohio. And we could get on into World War II with the Germans developing rockets, and then the Americans capturing those Germans and starting the US space program. But we'll end it at the Wright brothers.